December 1943, Warsaw. The city lay in shadow, its streets scarred by rubble and the constant echo of distant gunfire. Amidst this chaos, a man moved silently, carrying a secret that could rewrite the history of the war. His name was Stefan Nowak, a Polish intelligence officer whose mission was so dangerous that even his closest allies did not know the full scope. He wasn't just spying. He was about to capture something thought impossible, the voice of Adolf Hitler himself, recorded in the heart of Nazi power. The enemy never saw this coming, and the consequences of his actions would ripple far beyond the borders of Poland. How one spy, armed with nothing more than courage, cunning, and a crude recording device, infiltrated the most secure Nazi facilities remained a story few dared to tell. Every step he took was measured, every glance calculated, and yet the danger lurked around every corner. The Gestapo's presence was pervasive. Their suspicion was constant. Stefan knew one wrong move could mean death not only for him, but for those who had aided him in secrecy. He had been preparing for months, studying schedules, memorizing guards' routines, and crafting ingenious ways to bypass every security measure. His plan was audacious, bordering on insanity, but desperation and hope intertwined in equal measure. The Polish resistance had long dreamed of striking back at the heart of the Third Reich, but capturing Hitler's voice was more than a symbolic victory. It was proof that the Nazi machine could be penetrated, that their facade of invincibility was just that, a facade. Stefan's journey began in the cramped alleys of Warsaw, moving under the cover of night, blending into the shadows as though he were part of them. He carried with him a small, bulky recording device, primitive by today's standards, yet capable of capturing every word, every inflection, every secret command uttered by the Führer. The device had been smuggled from London, a gift from British intelligence who knew the stakes of this mission. Each step closer to the Nazi headquarters was a step deeper into peril, and yet Stefan's resolve did not waver. He thought of his family, of his fallen comrades, and of the countless lives that could be saved with the intelligence he was about to gather. Fear was a constant companion, yet it was harnessed, sharpened into a tool rather than a burden. As he approached the building, the enormity of the task pressed upon him. Guards patrolled in pairs, their eyes trained, their suspicion almost palpable. Yet Stefan had accounted for every variable, every contingency, planning not just for success but for survival should anything go wrong. His hands trembled slightly, betraying the tension within, but his mind remained razor-sharp, focused on the objective. What he was about to do defied logic and expectation. Never before had anyone dared to record Hitler's own voice from within his inner sanctum, and the world would never know the audacity of this act unless it succeeded. Stefan's heart pounded as he slipped through a narrow side entrance, moving silently past rooms filled with officers and clerks, their attention elsewhere, oblivious to the shadow threading through their midst. Each corridor seemed longer than the last, each footstep heavier with the weight of history pressing down. The recording device was ready, its microphone tuned, waiting for the moment that could change the tide of war. The impossible mission had begun, and failure was not an option. Every second counted, every sound mattered, and Stefan's nerves were coiled like a spring ready to release at the perfect instant. He paused, listening, hearing the muffled cadence of voices ahead, the unmistakable tone that confirmed he was in proximity to Hitler himself. This was the moment for which all the planning, the fear, and the preparation had been endured. A single slip could expose him, yet retreat was no longer a choice. The spy had stepped into history, and what he captured could expose secrets the Nazis had buried in darkness. How one man, one instrument, and one fearless plan converged at the right place and time was a story that few would ever understand, a tale of courage, precision, and audacity. It was a forbidden plan, a mission that even the highest echelons of Allied intelligence had considered too dangerous to attempt. And yet here he was, moving like a ghost through the halls of power, ready to do the unthinkable. The air was tense, thick with anticipation, as Stefan positioned the recording device discreetly beneath a desk, its wires hidden, its presence unnoticed. The voice of Hitler, a sound that had commanded millions into chaos and death, was about to be captured in a way history had never anticipated. Every second brought him closer to either triumph or oblivion. In that moment, Time seemed suspended, and the line between bravery and madness blurred. Stefan Novak was no ordinary spy. He was a man on the precipice of altering history itself. The room was silent, save for the faint scratching of pen on paper from a nearby clerk. Stefan's eyes darted to the far corner where Hitler's private office lay, its door guarded by men whose loyalty was as lethal as their weapons. He adjusted the recording device, ensuring it would capture every nuance, every syllable, without drawing attention. His breathing was steady, though his heart thundered in his chest, a rhythm that matched the tension in the room. The impossible mission had entered its most perilous phase. He recalled the words of his mentor back in Warsaw. History favors those who dare, not those who wait. Every calculation, every risk assessed, now depended on his composure in this single decisive moment. The whispers of past spies, their failures and sacrifices, seemed to echo in his mind, reminding him that one misstep would not only end his life, but could compromise the Resistance's entire network. Yet Stefan pressed on, guided by an unwavering sense of duty and an unshakable belief that the world needed the truth hidden in these secret recordings. As Hitler's voice emerged from the office, carried faintly through the thick walls, Stefan's hands moved with precision, adjusting the device to maximize clarity. Each word spoken was a key, a fragment of intelligence that could expose strategies, reveal plans, and potentially save countless lives. The shadows in the room seemed to close in, but he remained a silent observer, unseen, unheard, yet fully present. The audacity of the act weighed upon him, yet fear was harnessed, sharpened into vigilance. He was more than a man recording sound. He was the embodiment of a resistance that had refused to bow, that had dared to dream of disrupting the Nazi grip on Europe. Minutes stretched into hours, every passing moment thick with danger, and yet the device continued to capture the voice of history as it unfolded. Stefan's mind raced, cataloguing each phrase, each tone, each command that could later be analyzed by Allied intelligence. This was more than a spy mission. It was a bridge between secrecy and revelation, a thread connecting the oppressed to the means of striking back against tyranny. Suddenly, footsteps approached. Stefan's pulse quickened, but he remained frozen, a statue among shadows, relying on nerves honed through months of training and perilous preparation. The officer passing by glanced briefly in his direction, suspicion almost flaring, but Stefan's calm composure saved him. He exhaled silently as the figure moved on, oblivious to the monumental act occurring mere meters away. Every fraction of a second carried weight. Every movement could trigger disaster. Yet the recording continued, capturing Hitler's voice with crystal clarity, a forbidden testament to courage and ingenuity. Stefan imagined the reaction when the Allies would finally hear this audio, how disbelief would give way to awe, how the proof of audacity could inspire and strategize simultaneously. He realized the mission's true value was not just intelligence, but the symbolic victory of demonstrating that even the heart of Nazi power was not untouchable. Time blurred. The world outside continued its war-torn existence, while within this small room in Warsaw, one man wove a tapestry of bravery and cunning that would echo for generations. Finally, the moment came when the voice ceased, and Stefan with meticulous care retrieved the device, hiding it securely beneath his coat. Each step back through the corridors was measured, deliberate, as if the walls themselves watched and waited to judge him. Emerging into the night, he felt the weight of what he had accomplished, the realization that the impossible had been achieved. The spy who recorded Hitler's voice had succeeded, but his journey was far from over. The data had to be transported, analyzed, and preserved, and every action from this point could still invite peril. Yet in that instant, Stefan allowed himself the briefest taste of triumph, knowing that history had just been quietly altered in ways the world would soon learn to recognize. His courage, precision, and relentless determination had transformed a daring idea into reality. The audacity of capturing Hitler's voice would remain a testament to what one man, armed with ingenuity and resolve, could achieve in the shadow of tyranny. This forbidden act, once thought impossible, was now history itself, recorded in the clearest terms possible, a secret turned revelation. The spy, the mission, and the voice of a dictator converged to create a story of suspense, heroism, and unfathomable risk. Warsaw, 1943, was a city caught between despair and defiance. The German occupation had transformed it into a labyrinth of checkpoints, patrols, and fear. Yet beneath this oppressive veil, the Polish resistance thrived in secrecy. Every alley, every abandoned building became a potential hiding place, a node in the vast underground network that defied Nazi control. Stefan Nowak had been part of this network for years, learning to move like a shadow, to observe without being seen, and to survive where others would falter. His upbringing in Warsaw had given him an intimate knowledge of the city's streets, a mental map that allowed him to navigate through danger with near-prescient accuracy. Families whispered warnings to each other, and coded messages fluttered through hidden channels, all designed to prepare the populace for the inevitable strikes against the occupiers. It was within this tapestry of resistance and vigilance that Stefan received his most audacious assignment yet: infiltrate the core of Nazi operations and capture Adolf Hitler's voice. This directive came from the highest levels of Allied intelligence, a collaboration between Polish operatives and British agents, who recognized both the symbolic and strategic importance of such a feat. Stefan understood the gravity of the task. The mission was not only perilous but unprecedented. Never before had a spy been asked to penetrate so deeply into the machinery of the Third Reich, to seize evidence that could potentially alter the course of intelligence operations across Europe. He spent weeks preparing, gathering tools, memorizing layouts, and rehearsing movements. Each day brought new challenges: unexpected patrols, suspicious neighbors, and the constant threat of betrayal from collaborators or coerced informants. Yet in this crucible of tension, Stefan honed his skills, transforming fear into focus and danger into a carefully calibrated dance. Beyond the city streets, the war raged with relentless intensity. Eastern Europe had become a chessboard of conflict, with armies clashing, civilians caught in the crossfire, and entire regions oscillating between occupation and liberation. The Polish Home Army had become a central force in resisting Nazi control, coordinating sabotage, intelligence gathering, and occasional direct confrontations with enemy forces. Stefan's mission was not an isolated act of bravery, but a critical component of this larger resistance effort. Intelligence gathered from deep within enemy lines could inform strategic decisions, save lives, and challenge the perception of Nazi invincibility. Each assignment carried profound consequences, and the stakes were measured not just in immediate risk, but in the broader sweep of the war. His comrades had been captured or executed, yet their sacrifices fueled his determination. He moved through the city with purpose, blending into marketplaces, sidestepping checkpoints, and slipping past patrols as if guided by intuition itself. In the dim glow of Warsaw's street lamps, the city seemed both alive and haunted, a place where every shadow could conceal a threat or a lifeline. Stefan's preparation extended beyond physical readiness. It encompassed mental discipline, emotional resilience, and an unwavering commitment to the mission. Every contingency had been mapped, every potential obstacle anticipated. The devices, the secret codes, the escape routes, all were meticulously arranged to maximize the chances of success while minimizing exposure. The city itself became a partner in the operation, its alleys, hidden staircases, and forgotten tunnels providing pathways that only someone intimately familiar with Warsaw could exploit. He was acutely aware that the mission's success depended not only on skill, but also on timing, luck, and the silent cooperation of countless unseen allies who risked everything to aid in the resistance. The historical backdrop was equally compelling. Poland, having been brutally occupied since 1939, had endured mass arrests, deportations, and executions. Yet even in the darkest hours, the spirit of defiance persisted. The Home Army, underground newspapers, and clandestine networks ensured that knowledge, hope, and strategy continued to circulate. Stefan's role was a direct manifestation of this indomitable spirit, a tangible act of resistance that could resonate far beyond the immediate danger. Every step he took in preparation for recording Hitler's voice was steeped in this context, a mixture of strategy, courage, and moral imperative. The city, scarred yet resilient, provided the stage for an extraordinary act of espionage, one that would push both man and machine to the limits of ingenuity and audacity. Beyond the streets of Warsaw, The Nazi command structure was rigid, calculating and ruthless. Headquarters were fortified, guarded by elite soldiers who had been trained to detect even the slightest anomaly. Intelligence reports constantly flowed to Berlin, detailing potential resistance activity, and any sign of deviation was met with swift reprisal. Stefan Novak understood this world intimately. He had studied the routines of officers, the schedules of guards, and the protocols that governed every movement within the occupation's inner circle. Every detail mattered. Every miscalculation could be fatal. Allied planners emphasized the extreme risk, yet they recognized that the potential rewards outweighed the dangers. Capturing Hitler's voice was not merely symbolic, it was actionable intelligence. Command's tone, inflection, even the choice of words could reveal strategies, reveal the mood of the German High Command, and uncover hidden operations. The stakes were staggering. Stefan's training had prepared him for covert operations, but this mission was on an entirely different scale. Months of meticulous observation, trial runs, and careful coordination culminated in a single opportunity. The devices provided by British intelligence were sophisticated yet fragile, and handling them required precision. The small recording unit, no larger than a lunchbox, had to be hidden from the keen eyes of men accustomed to noticing the smallest irregularities. Every wire, every microphone placement, every adjustment was rehearsed repeatedly. Stefan's own network played a crucial role. Couriers, informants, and local operatives had provided intelligence that mapped the building's weak points, the timing of patrols, and the habits of key personnel. Their contributions were silent but invaluable, a testament to the collaborative effort required for such a daring endeavor. Beyond logistics, Stefan had to contend with psychological strain. The knowledge that discovery meant immediate death, not just for him but for those around him, was an omnipresent weight. Sleep was minimal, adrenaline constant, and every movement deliberate. Yet this tension sharpened his senses, enhancing his awareness of sound, light, and movement. The city itself seemed to conspire in his favor. Narrow alleyways, abandoned buildings, and shadowed courtyards offered avenues of approach and escape that only a local could navigate. Stefan's familiarity with Warsaw became his greatest asset, allowing him to move like a ghost amidst a city teeming with danger. Historical context amplified the mission's significance. 1943 marked a turning point in the Eastern Front, with battles raging and territories shifting. Intelligence captured within Nazi strongholds could influence outcomes not just locally, but across multiple theaters of war. Every piece of information was a potential lever in a much larger struggle. Stefan's preparation also involved contingency planning. He had mapped escape routes, safe houses, and fallback points, each strategically positioned to minimize exposure and maximize survival. Each ally, each connection, each piece of equipment was essential, forming a delicate web upon which the mission depended. Communication had to remain covert. Messages were coded, delivered discreetly, and often relayed through multiple intermediaries to avoid interception. Missteps could unravel months of planning, and Stefan's awareness of this fact heightened his vigilance. The cultural and social landscape also played a role. Ordinary citizens, though under occupation, were vital participants in subtle forms of resistance, hiding messages, providing shelter, or simply observing and reporting anomalies. Their quiet bravery provided Stefan with the backdrop necessary to operate, a living shield of human resilience that supported his every movement. By the time he was ready to make the move into Hitler's inner sanctum, the preparation had been exhaustive. Every scenario had been considered, every risk assessed, and every tool refined for maximum efficacy. It was within this web of strategy, courage, and secrecy that Stefan Novak prepared to perform an act that would transcend ordinary espionage. The capture of Hitler's voice was not just a mission. It was a culmination of planning, intelligence, bravery, and historical circumstance. In this delicate balance of risk and reward, one man stood at the center, a figure whose actions would quietly shape the course of history, demonstrating that even amidst tyranny, audacity and precision could carve paths previously deemed impossible. The plan, as audacious as it was, faced immediate and relentless obstacles. Every movement Stefan made risked detection, and the Nazi surveillance apparatus was unforgiving. Guards patrolled in overlapping patterns, their attention sharp, trained to notice anomalies that might escape the untrained eye. One misstep could unravel months of preparation, exposing Stefan and the network, supporting him to immediate arrest or execution. The corridors he had memorized now seemed like a maze of peril. Each doorway a potential trap, each shadow a threat. Intelligence indicated that Hitler's office had recently undergone heightened security measures, including random inspections and more frequent patrol rotations. Stefan adjusted his strategy, recalculating the timing of his approach, the positioning of his recording device, and the optimal paths for both entry and exit. Every second mattered, and the margin for error was infinitesimal. Yet even as he navigated these obstacles, Stefan had to maintain composure. Fear was constant, yet it was harnessed, transformed into a heightened state of awareness. Each decision carried weight. Choosing when to move, when to pause, and how to respond to unexpected developments required both intuition and training. Beyond physical obstacles, he faced psychological warfare. The knowledge that discovery would lead to brutal interrogation and certain death pressed heavily on his mind. He had to compartmentalize, focusing on immediate tasks while keeping the overarching mission in perspective. This mental discipline was essential, for hesitation or distraction could mean failure. The environment itself was unforgiving. The Nazi headquarters, a labyrinth of offices and corridors, seemed to twist unpredictably. Routine inspections created sudden delays, forcing Stefan to improvise. Noise, light, and movement required constant vigilance. Even a simple creak of a floorboard could spell disaster. Allies had warned of the risks, yet none had fully grasped the audacity of the undertaking. Stefan was venturing where few had dared, into the heart of enemy power, relying on preparation, skill, and an unyielding resolve. Complications multiplied when a patrolling officer unexpectedly changed his route, approaching the corridor where Stefan had positioned his recording device. Every muscle tensed, every instinct focused on remaining unseen. Time slowed, seconds stretching into eternity. A breath held, a step measured, a shadow crossed. He moved like a spectre, silent and precise until the danger passed. These moments exemplified the razor-thin line between success and catastrophe. Each obstacle required instant adaptation, creative problem-solving, and unwavering focus. Even minor errors could compromise not just the mission, but the entire resistance network. The stakes were unparalleled. Beyond the immediate threat of detection, Stefan had to contend with the inherent technical challenges of his equipment. The recording device was delicate, prone to malfunction if mishandled, yet essential for capturing the voice that could change the course of intelligence gathering. Positioning it without attracting attention required ingenuity, dexterity, and nerves of steel. The psychological tension compounded with the physical challenges. Hours of surveillance, anticipation, and preparation had led to this moment. Yet the unpredictability of human behavior, the randomness of patrolling guards, and the ever-present risk of betrayal created an atmosphere of constant danger. Stefan's every sense was alert, every decision critical. The mission teetered on the knife edge of possibility, demanding a combination of courage, strategy, and relentless focus. Within this maelstrom of threat and uncertainty, he advanced step by step, understanding that the outcome rested not only on his skill, but also on the fragile balance of circumstance. The conflict was no longer theoretical. It was immediate, present, and deadly, a crucible in which only absolute precision and daring could lead to success. The tension escalated as Stefan moved closer to the inner sanctum, each step a negotiation with fate. The building seemed alive with surveillance, every hallway a gauntlet, every doorway a potential point of exposure. He had anticipated most scenarios, yet the unpredictable nature of human behavior introduced variables that no plan could fully account for. A sudden conversation between officers echoed down the corridor, forcing Stefan to flatten against the wall, his breath shallow, his heartbeat echoing like a drum. The impossible mission teetered on the edge of failure, yet retreat was not an option. Each second brought both danger and opportunity, and Stefan had learned to measure risk with ruthless efficiency. The corridors twisted, guards shifted unexpectedly, and yet his training and intimate knowledge of the building allowed him to adjust in real time, moving like a shadow that no one noticed. The recording device, positioned under a heavy desk in Hitler's private office, awaited activation. One misstep in handling it could reveal its presence, undoing months of meticulous preparation. Stefan's mind calculated probabilities, imagined outcomes, and rehearsed contingencies in real time. Fear was a tool sharpening his senses, guiding his decisions. Beyond the physical hazards, Stefan faced moral and psychological pressure. He knew the importance of capturing the voice, not just as intelligence, but as proof that the Nazi command could be penetrated. The symbolic significance weighed as heavily as the practical. Every decision carried implications far beyond the walls of this building. A single slip could expose not only him, but the entire resistance network. Despite the pressure, he moved with precision, aligning wires, adjusting microphones, and ensuring that every parameter of the device was optimal. Moments of extreme danger passed. Guards turned corners, voices floated down corridors, but Stefan remained a phantom, unnoticed, unseen, and fully focused on the task. Technical challenges compounded the risk. The device was sensitive, prone to malfunction if mishandled, and any error could compromise the mission. Stefan's hands worked with steady, deliberate movements, honed through weeks of preparation and rehearsal. Each adjustment, each placement was a critical choice with irreversible consequences. The psychological strain was immense. Time seemed distorted, seconds stretching into what felt like minutes. Every sound amplified, every shadow a potential threat. Stefan's awareness of the stakes heightened his alertness, transforming fear into clarity and hesitation into decisive action. He considered the network of allies who had enabled this mission, the couriers, informants, and resistance members whose safety depended on his success. Their lives, their efforts, and their sacrifices propelled him forward, adding urgency to every move. As he activated the device, the muffled voice of Hitler began to seep through the walls, a forbidden sound now captured in unprecedented clarity. Stefan froze for a heartbeat, listening, verifying, ensuring that every syllable was recorded without flaw. This was the culmination of preparation, courage, and audacity, a delicate interplay between planning and improvisation. Even as the danger reached its peak, he remained steadfast, fully aware that history could be altered by the results of these fleeting moments. The conflict had reached its zenith, a crucible of tension, precision, and audacity. Every nerve, every thought, every movement converged on a single objective: capture, preserve, and escape with the forbidden knowledge. The spy had become the embodiment of calculated bravery, navigating a lethal web of uncertainty with unmatched focus. In these moments, Stefan's mission transcended ordinary espionage. It became a testament to human ingenuity, resolve, and the audacity to confront seemingly insurmountable odds. Failure was unthinkable, yet success required perfect execution, and Stefan was poised on the razor's edge between catastrophe and triumph. The moment of truth had arrived. Stefan Novak, having navigated the labyrinth of corridors and guards, now faced the heart of Nazi power, Hitler's private office. Every step toward that room carried the weight of months of preparation, planning, and sacrifice. He crouched in the shadows, observing the patterns of movement, the rotation of officers, and the subtle cues of timing that had been memorized to perfection. The recording device, discreetly concealed, was positioned to capture every word, every nuance of the Führer's speech, yet it required careful calibration. One misalignment could render the entire operation worthless. Sweat beaded on Stefan's brow, though his movements were deliberate, almost ritualistic in their precision. The stakes were immense. Intelligence gathered here could shift the understanding of Nazi strategy, reveal intentions, and provide a rare glimpse into the psyche of the man orchestrating a continent-wide war. He activated the device with a gentle click, ensuring its presence remained undetectable. The subtle hum of its mechanism was masked by distant voices and the ambient sounds of the office. Stefan's eyes remained fixed on the inner chamber, every sense alert, every muscle tensed, ready to respond to unforeseen threats. The voice of Hitler began to echo, low at first, gradually gaining intensity as he dictated orders to his officers. Stefan leaned slightly closer, verifying the clarity, adjusting angles imperceptibly, ensuring that the device captured the forbidden truth in pristine fidelity. Minutes passed like hours, each one laden with danger, each one a step toward completing a mission considered impossible. The air was thick with tension, and Stefan's mind catalogued every sound, every inflection, every subtle shift in tone. These details were invaluable, each phrase a potential insight into military strategy, troop movements, and the operational mindset of the Nazi hierarchy. Outside the immediate confines of the office, the city of Warsaw remained unaware of the audacity unfolding within its occupied heart. The narrow streets patrolled by German forces bore silent witness to a resistance that refused to be crushed, a people determined to challenge tyranny in every form. Stefan was the instrument of that defiance, moving with precision born of months of meticulous rehearsal. His hands, steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him, adjusted the device's components, ensuring maximum efficiency. The mission demanded complete focus. Distraction could mean exposure, failure, and death. Footsteps approached nearby, officers moving with sudden unpredictability, yet Stefan's training allowed him to remain unseen. He froze, breathing shallowly, heart pounding in synchrony with the device's faint mechanical hum. Seconds later, the threat passed, and he resumed his delicate adjustments. The voice of Hitler continued, commanding, dictating, revealing, and Stefan captured every detail with unwavering diligence. The impossible mission had transformed into a meticulously executed operation, a dance of shadows, nerves, and precision. Time seemed suspended, each passing moment amplifying both risk and reward. The spy had become part of the environment, a ghost blending seamlessly with the darkness, his presence known only to himself and the clandestine allies who had made this moment possible. Every adjustment, every decision, carried irreversible consequences, and yet Stefan's composure remained intact. The device recorded, hidden beneath the desk, bearing witness to words that could shake military command structures, influence strategic planning, and provide the Allies with insights otherwise unattainable. In this crucible of danger and skill, Stefan's role transcended mere espionage. He was both observer and participant in a historical act that demanded audacity, courage, and perfect execution. The weight of the mission pressed upon him, yet it sharpened his focus rather than diminished it. Each second, each syllable, each subtle nuance of Hitler's speech was a step toward achieving what many had deemed impossible, a testament to human ingenuity and bravery in the face of overwhelming danger. Stefan Nowak had become the embodiment of a resistance that refused to bow, proving that even in the heart of tyranny, precision, courage, and audacity could prevail. As the minutes stretched on, Stefan felt the weight of history pressing against him. Every word uttered by Hitler was now imprinted onto the recording, a forbidden testament to audacity and precision. He remained motionless, blending seamlessly with the shadows, aware that the slightest sound, the faintest movement could expose him. The corridor outside was alive with guards, their boots clicking against the floor in a relentless cadence. Yet Stefan's intimate knowledge of timing allowed him to remain unseen, unnoticed, and unchallenged. The recording device captured phrases that revealed strategy, command intentions, and insights into the Führer's state of mind. This was intelligence of the highest order, a treasure beyond conventional measures, now securely preserved in a small, unassuming instrument. Stefan's hands moved with calculated care, ensuring the microphone angle remained optimal, the device hidden, and the sound quality flawless. Every adjustment, every subtle tweak was performed under the constant threat of detection. Outside, the city remained oblivious to the audacity unfolding within its occupied core. The narrow streets and shadowed alleys bore witness to a silent struggle of ingenuity and courage. Yet the true heroism remained unseen by all but a select few. Stefan's mind catalogued every detail, every tone, every nuance, aware that future analysts would dissect these recordings for critical intelligence. His awareness of the stakes intensified his focus, sharpening perception to an almost supernatural level. Time became elastic, each second heavy with potential consequence. A sudden movement outside the office, a guard pausing, a shadow shifting, momentarily jolted Stefan, but his training held, allowing him to maintain poise, composure, and precision. The mission teetered between success and catastrophe, yet the spy's meticulous preparation carried him forward. The device continued to record without flaw, a silent witness to words that could alter strategy and inspire resistance across occupied Europe. Stefan's audacity was matched only by his discipline. Fear was a tool, honed into vigilance, guiding every motion, every decision, every breath. The impossibility of the task, the notion that one man could penetrate the inner sanctum of Hitler's power, was being defied, step by meticulous step. As the session continued, the gravity of what he was achieving became clear. This was not mere espionage. It was a transformative act, a demonstration that precision, courage, and audacity could penetrate even the most fortified layers of tyranny. The voice of Hitler, once untouchable, now existed outside the confines of his office, a testament to the resilience of those who dared to challenge him. Stefan knew that his success hinged on extraction. Capturing the voice was only half the battle. Safely removing the device, escaping detection, and ensuring the intelligence reached Allied hands required the same meticulous care and courage that had brought him this far. Each step backward through the labyrinthine corridors demanded absolute focus, every shadow scrutinized, every sound evaluated. The impossible mission had evolved into a meticulously executed sequence of calculated risks, each dependent on skill, nerve, and timing. By the time Stefan emerged into the cover of night, device secure, he understood the enormity of what he had accomplished. The forbidden plan had succeeded, the impossible made real, and history had been quietly altered by the courage of a single man. The spy who recorded Hitler's voice had achieved a feat that few could imagine. Yet the mission was not merely for accolades, it was a critical contribution to intelligence, a symbol of defiance, and a reminder that even the heart of tyranny could be challenged. In that moment, Stefan Nowak embodied the intersection of bravery, precision, and historical consequence, a silent testament to the audacity of one man against the machinery of oppression. Every calculated move, every moment of nerve, every second spent in peril, culminated in a single achievement whose significance would echo far beyond the occupied streets of Warsaw. The main event of this mission, the audacious capture of the Führer's voice, had been executed with flawless precision, an enduring example of courage, skill, and determination under unimaginable pressure. The extraction of the device marked the beginning of a new phase, one fraught with equal danger, but immense significance. Stefan Nowak moved cautiously through the dimly lit corridors, every footstep measured, every shadow scanned for signs of detection. The night outside Warsaw offered cover, yet the occupied streets remained perilous, teeming with patrolling soldiers and unexpected inspections. Each alley, each doorway, each abandoned building could hide both safety and threat. The success of capturing Hitler's voice now hinged on safe transport, secrecy, and the resilience of the resistance network. The recording itself was a treasure, a priceless piece of intelligence that could shift strategic understanding and empower the Allied forces. Stefan's mind raced, recalling contingency plans, safe routes, and trusted allies who had risked everything to aid in this mission. The device, compact yet potent, contained data that was more than sound. It contained insight, proof that even the most fortified enemy could be penetrated. Every second mattered. Exposure could reverse months of careful preparation. As Stefan navigated the city, memories of comrades lost and sacrifices made strengthened his resolve. He thought of the families who had endured oppression, the civilians who had whispered warnings, and the network of spies whose lives intersected with his own. The mission was no longer a solitary act. It was part of a larger tapestry of courage, defiance, and historical consequence. Approaching a safe house, Stefan maintained heightened awareness. Knowing that even trusted locations could be compromised, he double-checked his concealment methods, ensuring the device remained undetectable, shielded from prying eyes. The atmosphere was tense, thick with anticipation, and every passing moment carried the potential for both triumph and disaster. Beyond Warsaw, Allied intelligence awaited the arrival of this recording, understanding that its contents could inform strategies, reveal enemy plans, and validate audacious claims about infiltrating the Führer's inner sanctum. The psychological burden was immense. Stefan had performed the audacious act, yet the responsibility for its delivery weighed heavily. He recalled instructions. Discretion, precision, and patience were paramount. One misstep could undo the mission's monumental achievements. The city, silent under a moonlit sky, seemed to hold its breath as Stefan moved, blending with the shadows, utilizing every skill honed through years of clandestine operations. Each obstacle overcame reinforced the gravity of what had been achieved. The mission had already altered the landscape of intelligence and resistance, demonstrating that even the heart of Nazi power was vulnerable to ingenuity and courage. Stefan paused briefly, listening to the distant echoes of patrols, the hum of the occupied city, and allowed himself a fleeting awareness of triumph, tempered by vigilance. He reminded himself that history would not record the immediate dangers he faced, nor the countless silent sacrifices, but the outcome depended on precise execution of these final steps. Every decision, every movement, every breath was deliberate, calculated, and necessary. He navigated through narrow alleyways, avoiding the gaze of soldiers and informants, moving like a phantom in a city that had long become a theater of shadows and secrecy. The extraction itself was an intricate dance between timing, risk, and ingenuity. Each handoff, each concealment, each step was a critical component of a mission whose success depended on flawless execution. Stefan's determination did not waver. The months of preparation, the meticulous planning, and the audacity of his actions had all led to this moment. The recording, the evidence, the intelligence, all were now within his grasp, poised to be delivered to those who could turn this audacity into strategic advantage. With each step, the impossible mission transitioned from a daring act of espionage to a tangible, impactful contribution to the Allied war effort, a testament to courage, precision, and historical consequence. Stefan Novak reached the safe house, the city's night cloaking his movements in silence. The door opened to familiar faces, operatives who had assisted in planning, communication, and logistical support. Each of them understood the magnitude of what had just occurred. The capture of Hitler's voice was unprecedented, a triumph of intelligence and courage. The device was carefully handed over, its contents secured, the culmination of months of preparation now in the hands of those who could analyze and utilize it. Relief was fleeting. Danger was never far from those involved in resistance operations. The Allies would soon receive the recordings, their analysts poring over every word, tone, and nuance to extract actionable intelligence. Stefan remained vigilant, aware that even in success the enemy's reach was extensive. Each participant in the operation carried the weight of potential exposure, the constant threat of betrayal, and the lingering fear of discovery. Yet the mission had proven the feasibility of daring espionage, demonstrating that audacity, preparation, and skill could penetrate even the most secure layers of Nazi command. The recordings, once analyzed, revealed strategic plans, troop movements, and the mindset of Hitler himself, information that could shape future operations, prevent casualties, and inform high-level decision-making. The broader impact was profound. The symbolic victory of breaching the Führer's inner sanctum inspired hope, strengthened resistance morale, and showcased the potential of individual courage to influence monumental events. Stefan's own reflection was measured. While the operation was a personal triumph, he recognized that its significance extended far beyond his own experience. This was a victory for the resistance, for Allied intelligence, and for the countless civilians who had endured oppression and fear. Months of meticulous planning, rehearsals, and coordination had converged into a single pivotal achievement. The extraction, transportation, and secure delivery of the device were as critical as the initial infiltration, and each phase had been executed with precision, ingenuity, and unwavering focus. The mission illustrated the delicate interplay between strategy and execution, courage and calculation, secrecy and revelation. Stefan understood that history would remember the results, but few would comprehend the extraordinary risks, the nerve and the skill required to accomplish them. In this outcome, every participant, every detail, and every calculated risk had played a role in achieving success. The intelligence obtained would resonate across military channels, shaping decisions and altering perceptions of the Nazi command's invulnerability. Yet the human element remained central. The bravery, discipline, and audacity of those like Stefan Novak turned a daring plan into historical reality. In the months following the operation, the Allies leveraged the recordings, gaining insights that would inform critical campaigns and strategic planning. The audacity of capturing Hitler's voice proved that even the most fortified enemy could be infiltrated, that ingenuity and courage could overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. The ripple effect extended further. It emboldened other operatives, reinforced resistance networks, and showcased the potential of individual actions to influence the trajectory of the war. Stefan's mission had transitioned from a single act of espionage to a historical touchstone, a symbol of what could be achieved when preparation, skill, and bravery converged. As the night receded into dawn, Stefan allowed himself a quiet moment of reflection. The operation had succeeded beyond expectation, yet the path forward remained vigilant, cautious, and deliberate. The outcome was now secured, the intelligence preserved, and the mission's significance firmly established in the annals of resistance and Allied strategy. Every detail, from conception to execution, had contributed to this monumental achievement, demonstrating the extraordinary impact of one man's courage amidst the turmoil of war. The spy who had recorded Hitler's voice had not only achieved the impossible, but had reshaped the narrative of espionage, proving that audacity, preparation, and precision could triumph over the most formidable adversary. The mission, though complete, left a lingering sense of gravity. Stefan Nowak had ventured where few dared, penetrated the inner sanctum of Nazi power, and captured a voice that symbolized tyranny itself. Yet the true impact went beyond mere intelligence. It was a testament to human audacity, meticulous planning, and unwavering courage. The streets of Warsaw, scarred by occupation and battle, seemed quieter now, as if the city itself had paused to acknowledge the significance of what had transpired. Allies received the recordings with a mix of astonishment and strategic anticipation, realizing that the forbidden act of recording Hitler's voice had provided unprecedented insights into enemy operations. Stefan's contribution was both personal and collective, a solitary act intertwined with the efforts of countless operatives, couriers, and informants who had facilitated every stage of the mission. He reflected on the risks endured, the obstacles overcome, and the precision required at every step. The weight of responsibility was immense, yet it was balanced by the profound satisfaction of having achieved the impossible. The psychological toll of such a mission was not easily measured. Months of preparation, tension, and anticipation had culminated in a moment of historic significance, yet Stefan understood that the war continued and vigilance remained essential. Despite success, the enemy remained formidable and the fight for freedom was ongoing. The symbolic value of capturing Hitler's voice resonated beyond military strategy. It inspired hope among the oppressed, strengthened the resolve of resistance movements, and proved that even the most powerful adversary could be challenged with courage, ingenuity, and precision. Stefan's reflection extended to the broader context of the war, the countless individuals risking everything, the clandestine operations shaping outcomes, and the hidden acts of bravery that often went unrecorded yet influenced the course of history. Each step of the mission, from infiltration to recording, extraction, and delivery, had been executed with a level of skill and daring that transformed the seemingly impossible into reality. The device, now securely in the hands of Allied analysts, represented more than intelligence. It was a symbol of resistance, an emblem of audacity, and a testament to the human capacity for courage under extraordinary circumstances. Stefan recognized that the story of this operation would be told sparingly, its significance understood only by those within the inner circles of intelligence. Yet the impact, though quiet, was enduring. The forbidden plan had succeeded, the audacity of one man reshaping perceptions of what could be achieved, and history had been altered in ways subtle yet profound. Each detail mattered, each moment of risk and precision contributing to the ultimate outcome. Stefan's thoughts lingered on the countless silent heroes whose efforts had enabled this mission. The couriers, the informants, the members of the resistance who had risked death to ensure its success. Their courage was woven into the fabric of the operation, a reminder that individual bravery often relied on collective effort. As dawn approached, a new sense of purpose settled over Stefan. The mission had achieved its goal, yet it also illuminated the ongoing struggle, the persistent necessity for vigilance, and the enduring power of audacity and skill. The spy who recorded Hitler's voice had not only completed a daring act of espionage, but had demonstrated the profound impact of meticulous planning, courage, and precise execution. In that quiet moment, the significance of the mission resonated fully, proof that even in the shadow of tyranny, human ingenuity and bravery could prevail. Stefan Nowak had secured a place in history, not through glory, but through an act of daring that exemplified the intersection of strategy, courage, and historical consequence. The closing of this chapter marked both an ending and a beginning, a testament to audacity, precision, and the enduring human spirit in the face of oppression. The story of Stefan Nowak and his audacious mission would ripple through history, though few would ever know the full extent of his courage. The recordings, once analyzed, provided the Allies with insights that shaped strategic decisions, yet their symbolic weight was equally profound. They proved that no fortress of power, no matter how fortified, was beyond the reach of human ingenuity and daring. Stefan's actions became a quiet inspiration to operatives, a demonstration that meticulous planning, nerve, and precision could overcome the most formidable adversaries. He reflected on the sacrifices made, the comrades lost, the dangers faced, the constant tension of operating in the shadow of death. Each risk had been calculated, each decision deliberate, yet the unpredictability of human behavior and the omnipresence of danger meant that success was never guaranteed. And yet, against all odds, he had prevailed. The city of Warsaw, resilient and scarred, had served as both a battleground and a sanctuary, its hidden alleys and abandoned buildings bearing witness to acts of courage that would otherwise remain unseen. Stefan's journey exemplified the delicate balance between preparation and improvisation, between audacity and discipline, and between secrecy and revelation. Beyond the operational details, the mission symbolized the broader struggle against tyranny. It was a testament to the power of individual initiative within the framework of collective resistance, a reminder that one person's daring could influence the course of events on a monumental scale. The extracted intelligence, coupled with the symbolic victory of penetrating Hitler's inner sanctum, boosted morale, inspired hope, and demonstrated that even the most authoritarian structures could be challenged by human courage and ingenuity. Stefan's reflection extended to the countless unsung heroes, the informants, the couriers, the resistance members, whose combined efforts enabled this remarkable feat. The mission had been successful because of their courage as much as his own. History often records outcomes, yet rarely the quiet, painstaking acts that made them possible. Stefan Nowak's story bridged that gap, embodying the essence of resistance, strategy, and human resolve. In the aftermath, he remained vigilant, aware that the dangers of occupation persisted, yet strengthened by the knowledge that he had accomplished the impossible. The recordings, preserved and analyzed, became a touchstone for understanding enemy intent, informing campaigns and shaping decisions that would affect countless lives. They served as a reminder that audacity, preparation, and courage could intersect to create outcomes that changed history. Stefan understood the enduring lesson, that even in the shadow of absolute power, human agency, skill, and bravery could make a decisive difference. The spy who had recorded Hitler's voice had not merely completed a mission, he had created a legacy, a testament to the capacity of one individual to impact events far beyond their immediate sphere. The story of this forbidden act, once revealed, would inspire generations of operatives, historians, and ordinary citizens alike. It underscored the profound significance of meticulous planning, courage under pressure, and the unwavering pursuit of a seemingly impossible objective. In that quiet, reflective moment, Stefan realized that the true measure of success was not only the intelligence captured, but the demonstration of what could be achieved through audacity, precision, and unwavering resolve. The mission had concluded, yet its echoes would resonate, a reminder that history is often shaped by those willing to risk everything for the pursuit of truth, freedom, and the audacious belief that even the heart of tyranny can be challenged. The spy, the recording, and the act itself converged to form a narrative of heroism, strategy, and indelible courage, a story that would endure far beyond the confines of occupied Warsaw.